judge a country by the way it treats its children.
Mm.
And one of the biggest problems that we have, our children are being slaughtered, and we can't get this right. And lo and behold, we can get this right. We just got to be brave, and we just have to do it.
For years, I've been known as a guy that's dedicated his whole life to technology and music. I've done it for corporate for 15 years, and now I get a chance to do it here with you at MBassador Studios. Hi, I'm Tarmel Daniel, and every week, I want to introduce you to some of the most brilliant people on this planet as we discuss their brands, events, and their approach to their craft. We'll talk about their failures as well as their success. We will discuss blueprints, plans, ideas, and possible partnerships we'll form. Never know who might walk through the doors. This is The Code, where we vibrate at a creator's frequency. What's up, family? We're here with The Code, man, where we vibrate at a creator's frequency. And it's your boy T, father of four, master of none. And I am excited today because I've got Church of the Messiah, Detroit Episcopal in the building today. The church is in the building today. These guys, I love them so much because of all the work they do in the community, all different kinds of ways. You can't even think of all the things they're doing. We'll run out of time trying to talk about it all. So gentlemen, let's go around the table. We'll start with you, Pastor. Introduce yourself so that the folks can know who we're talking to today.
Yeah, you start with me. You might have wanted to hold me for last. But I'm Barry Randolph, and I'm the priest and pastor of Church of the Messiah. We're located at 231 East Grand Boulevard on the corner of Lafayette in Islandville.
Absolutely.
I'm Everett Finley. I work as a global system strategist, and I work with Pastor Barry at the church, overseeing all the programs.
And I'm Robert Olive. I'm an associated minister with Church of the Messiah, founder, executive director of Righteous Sons, which is a conscious community-based nonprofit organization. Just honored to be at the table and to have an amazing commander-in-chief. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I made a rookie mistake by not coming to you. You're supposed to say the best for last. You know what I mean? But I was trying to give you the first, you know
no,
what I mean?
It's the loudest mouth. Loud mouth, not the greatest.
Not
just
the greatest.
Loud mouth, yeah.
So look, even though we are happy to see each other, the reason why we're here is heavy on everybody, especially right now. And it's about gun control.
Or gun violence.
And gun violence.
Gun violence.
We're having a Silence the Violence march and rally June 4th. The rally is at 10 a.m. Right?
Yes, and that will be a press conference.
And it's a press conference.
Yep.
And the actual march is at 11 a.m.
Yes.
But before we hop into the event, because a lot of people, so let's back up a little bit. On May 24th, 2022, in Uvalde, Texas, 21 people were killed at Robb Elementary. Of the 21, 19 were children. As a father, especially in that age group, I'm just heartbroken.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I don't know what to do next. You know, I don't know if I pull my kids and put them in a private situation or teach them at home. I'm glad the church is at the table right now so that we can discuss this because folks are struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to pick this up and just give a word of encouragement?
Yeah, well, I'm a preacher, so that's what I do. I'm supposed to bring some good news in a world full of chaos. And I won't necessarily say, I definitely don't have the answer, but I will say this. Gun violence is an American problem.
Mm.
This is not a worldwide problem. It's not like COVID.
Mm-hmm.
COVID is a pandemic that affects the entire world. The United States have an epidemic, and our epidemic is gun violence. It is unique to this country and to our culture. So if we're going to deal with it, let us please understand this is a man-made problem. This is in this country, and it's a lot of different issues to it. And anytime we put profit before people, we're in trouble. And also, too, there was a statement that I once heard, and I don't know who said it, but it was a country. You can judge a country by the way it treats its children.
Mm.
And one of the biggest problems that we have, our children are being slaughtered, and we can't get this right. And lo and behold, we can get this right. We just got to be brave, and we just have to do it.
Just got to do it.
We have to do it.
And to your point, it is our problem. This year alone, 288. 288. And you compare that to Mexico, who's at 8. Only 8. And that's the close second to us. So, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Rob? Pop in there.
You know, for me, I love what Pastor Barry said about it being a man-made problem.
Mhm.
So too often, you know, we set unrealistic standards and expectations of God coming to, you know, to save and fix everything, right?
Mhm.
We got to remember that he gave us a mandate.
Mhm.
He gave us the authority to rule this earth, right?
Wow.
So that means us, all of us have the duty and responsibility to uplift, protect, and educate and properly manage and deal with our communities, right? And so this is not a thing where we can try to blame God. This is not a thing where we all can just complain about the issue and just sit on our behind and just, you know, expect everything to change. Like those of us who are dissatisfied, who are frustrated, those of us who are parents, those of us who personally or indirectly have experienced the pain of losing a child under these circumstances, or any loved one for that matter, it's our responsibility to start holding each other accountable, to start holding government accountable,
Yes.
to start, you know, letting the people know, period. Like, you can't come into my neighborhood, into our communities doing these things. I don't care
Absolutely.
what color you are.
Right.
I don't care if you white. I don't care if you black. Like, this is the issue and we're not tolerating it. That's the type of energy that we need to be giving off with this.
I totally agree. Everett, you want to share some thoughts as well?
Yeah, I think the approach of looking at this as a problem that is a bipartisan issue in the country, that it's a issue that has to we have to take multiple pronged strategies to solve this issue, and understand that is an issue that is systemic in America, and that we need to for the country to move forward in a healthy way. This issue has to be dealt with, and this is why I like working with Pastor Barry on these problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is tough, man. And you know, pray with your children. Also talk to them. Let's not let other folks talk to our children, including these teachers. I mean, we need to be there for our own kids, taking out the proper time, giving them some, ask them how they feel. You know, make sure they feel okay. Um, they have feelings too, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and so we've got to remember that even though we may feel a certain way, even the anger we might feel from it, our political perspective on it, whatever that might be, remember, we've got to protect our kids physically and emotionally. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get more into the gun violence event. So the Silence the Violence rally. Let's talk about how long it's been going and exactly what it is, what the vision of it is.
So it was started 15 years ago, and it started because in 1 year I buried 3 children, and that kind of shocked me. So I went to the church members and I'm like, look, we got to do something. There's a systemic problem within our community. We know this is in our country, but something is wrong, and we got to start working on this. So we created a organization to be able to work on it. Our thing is, how are we really going to get this out to the community? And somebody made a joke. I think it was me. I said, well, we need to have a parade going down the middle of the boulevard. A couple months later, we're at a parade going down the middle of the boulevard. So you can't joke, because it will manifest and happen. And when we did the very first one, just to bring attention to the organization that we were creating, 58 community people came. And that was in 2008. 2019, when we had our last one, we skipped 2 years because of COVID. 1,200 people showed up. And every
Wow.
year it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, when you do something and you gather those many people together, believe me, local government pay attention, law enforcement pay attention,
Yep.
Community activists pay attention. Just so many people were paying attention. And so it became this gathering place of solutionaries.
Mhm.
So it really is a gathering of solutionaries, people who believe that we can do something about this. We stand up for the innocent victims of gun violence, and then we work to eradicate it in the memory of those who no longer have a voice. So that's what we invite you to. At 10 o'clock is the press conference. That's when we will talk about what's happening in our state primarily. And then at 11 o'clock, we take it to the street, and we take it to the street on purpose. People say things like, oh, marches don't work. This one does. Because I can tell you this much: you got 1,000 people walking in your neighborhood with signs of the innocent victims of gun violence, going down the street chanting with a marching band. And
Yes.
you looking up, and it looks like the United Nations have come to Detroit,
Uh-huh.
and you seeing black, white, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, all standing together saying enough is enough. We will get your attention. And for 1 minute, you go stop what it is you're doing. You go look at those innocent faces of gun violence, because we carry the pictures of every person. And for a minute, you go stop and you go pause. And in that minute, we're going to make you stop and think, what are we doing as individuals, not just as a community as a whole, but what can we do as individuals to take the time out and think, what is it can we do? So that's what the march is about. Um, and it is huge, it is amazing, and it really do make a difference. A lot of healing take place at that time, because our governmental leaders are there. You could walk right up to them and you can give them a piece of your mind, or
Yep.
you could support them. This the other.
Uh-huh.
People get registered to vote. The
Oh, wow.
community is out, even down to um, medical doctors are there talking about the trauma of gun violence. Social workers are there. They're talking about what it is that they have to deal with and what they go to. And a lot of DPS school students are there. We're going to have some of the people from March for Our Lives. They're going to come from everywhere.
Everywhere.
This is about making a difference and us standing together.
That's
You-
amazing. Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that Pastor Barry said that about the march, right? If it only makes a person stop for 1 minute, coming from somebody who was the shooter once upon a time, right?
Yep.
Coming from somebody who, was around and around and still is around some individuals who, you know what I'm saying, who is the shooters.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily on the children, but I mean that's somebody's child,
Somebody's
right?
child, yep.
And so it only takes 5 seconds. If a person can think about what they're gonna do and actually the reality of it,
Who is going to hurt and impact.
exactly,
Right.
then 9 times out of 10, it wouldn't happen. I find it amusing personally when I go to the gas station. I don't care if it's day or night. You got, somebody always outside,
Yep.
Got their face tore up or whatever. That's the first person I speak to. What up, bro? How you doing today? And it catch them off guard, right? Because usually we respond either on that same level,
Yep.
or we just don't say nothing at all and try to walk past hoping
them.
that we don't see or acting like we don't see it, right?
Yep.
And so that's part of the problem.
No, it is.
You see what I'm saying? Because you got so many people who feel like
They're
they
not
can't be
seen.
seen, that
Yes.
they're irrelevant.
Yes.
So coming like I said, from being that person once upon a time, it's easy. If you don't see no value in your life, it's easy for you not to see no value in nobody else's life.
Right.
And so this is something as simple as how you doing today? What's up, bro? A head nod.
Yep.
That could be what that person needs
It can
just
change.
to change their thought for a second because it caught their attention just for a second. It's so many brothers and even sisters I've talked to who are incarcerated or was incarcerated. And a lot of them was like, man, if I would have just thought, if I would have, you know what I'm saying, if I wouldn't have went to this place or if I wouldn't have whatever. But like I said, just that moment, to be able to think something different, to be able to something happens to shift the feelings, the emotions, because most of it is just people in the midst of emotion acting on impulse.
Yep.
So if I can stop that impulse of action and thought for a second, that could be the difference between life and death.
Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, you're right. I know I've done things out of impulse or anger that I wish I can take back all the time. And really, sometimes you just need to breathe, and then that breath, just seeing something positive or just understanding who's on the other side of this tragedy I'm about to create. Like this, it's real people over there. I might be even sometimes like in road rage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the feeling of road rage along right after it. I'm like, wow, I need to calm down. I was somebody else. I was just somebody else at that red light.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
yeah,
I
that's true.
I don't know. Everett, hop in, man. So I think you're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York. I come back and forth to Detroit. I've been doing that for about 7, 8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, so how is the climate out there right now as far as gun violence go and things of that nature?
I think yeah, the in New York, like I serve on the Council of the Environment for New York City,
Okay.
and so that's the single largest environmental organization for the city. So the farmers markets,
Mhm.
recycling, composting, and what we're seeing that is that within communities, food is a big challenge for us, right?
Mm.
So these problems that we're seeing manifesting themselves in ways that are becoming systemic. We're tracing those things back to, if you could look at what the food deserts in these neighborhoods. If you get up in the morning and a kid has a soda that has like 34 grams of sugar in it, or eats a meal that does not have proper nutrition,
Yep.
what happens is very difficult to learn access to proper nutrition, and we're seeing that these things lead to the problems that we're seeing within community. Like Pastor Barry talks about access to opportunity.
Yep.
But if you could show kids, and we try to show them what's possible,
Yes.
not
Yep.
just telling them by words, but actually finding the people that have survived, that chose the right path,
Ah,
like all of us on the table here who are striving, but we want to look back, and then give the youth the access to that. We see that we're seeing this change happen, and then the magic that we've seen that's worked is where they then sit in a circle and then connect with their peers, so they take it
yes.
back home, and then
Yes.
change happens.
Yes. The kids want action. Um,
Action, yeah,
for
yeah.
them, talk is cheap. You
Talk is
know,
cheap. That's
Yep,
exactly
it's
right. Yeah.
exactly.
it's like faith without works is dead. Well, talk
Yeah,
without
yeah,
action
yeah,
is
yeah,
cheap.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So, um, I think this is a very important conversation. I mean, even down to the nutritional part of this thing or the mental health part of this thing. Like, it is very complicated.
It is.
It's a complicated conversation,
Complicated. Yeah.
It
and
is.
I am just glad that even here at Ambassador Studios that we get to be a part of this marching rally and play our little small piece in it, because again, I've got children within this age group and I've lost people
Yes.
to gun violence. Not you know what I
Believe it
mean?
or
Like
not, yeah, yeah,
and this impacted the whole trajectory of my life.
Yes.
yeah,
You know, it
Yes.
just it changes everything when you lose somebody, before the time that you should, you know.
yeah.
Death is hard anyway, but especially when it's people that go before their time. Um, do we want to talk a little bit about the participants this year and some of the folks that are definitely chipping in to make this event happen?
Yeah. And let me also say too that one of the things that we focus on is the system of creating the environment where gun violence can thrive. You cannot talk about gun violence without talking about poverty and illiteracy
Right.
and talking about a structure where there is no opportunity for people in inner cities. You know, a system is literally in place for the destruction of black people.
Mm.
And I don't make no qualms about that. And now that's one of the major things that I talk about. The other thing is too, you have to remember, because I'm on all these panels and we talk about so many different things. When it comes to what's happening in our country, a lot of times when it's white children, it happens in schools. With black children, it's coming home from school, on the way to school, directly in the neighborhood. It's kind of different, but still it's violence and
Yes.
it needs to be addressed. But it is a system put in place that we need to really look at this system that's in place in the richest, most prosperous, democratic countries in the world. We need to really look at that
Mm.
and think about what we profess and what we do and how we treat people and what we allow. And to a point that Robert was making that is so true, and I say this all the time. God didn't create gun violence. He didn't create poverty. He didn't create illiteracy.
Mm.
He didn't create racism. Man created all of that. And a lot of times when we get on our knees and we start praying and we start saying, Lord, do something about it, he was like, I ain't do it. Y'all did it. Get it right. My people who are called by my name. I don't want to get to preaching, but it is a system put in place. Our thing is to put a new system in place. That's really what we're doing. Is putting a new system in place.
Yeah.
Let us provide the opportunities. Let us create the jobs. Let
Yes.
us do the housing. Let us do the education. Let us do the technology. And we go use a system that's not based on just profit and what you have, but more importantly, who you are and what did God call you to be. Because we church, our system is not the world system. So that's my sermon for the day. So I just need to get that out of the way.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How do we participate in this system?
So you participating right now, having us on the show. And I ain't trying to be funny. When you kind of slipped and said this was church, it is church.
Yeah.
It really is church.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I feel the spirit when I come in here.
Yep.
All y'all spirit feel. I'm not talking about religion.
Yep.
I am talking about being the people that God has called you to be.
Yep.
And living out your truth, because that is the way that we really do serve God. God's gift to us is our life. Our gift back to him is what we do with it.
Okay.
So then therefore we are a testament with what it is that we do. So it's quite powerful. You have to choose to be within that new system. And so then therefore that's what's happening. You have to create it and allow people to come into it. Most people will choose the right system. But if you don't have a right system put in place, if you put out the wrong system with no other avenue, you go work within that wrong system to the best of your ability, trying to be right in the system that's wrong.
Still wrong.
It's still wrong. And so then therefore it's a disaster waiting to happen. That's what man does, but that's not what God do. And there are churches, and I don't want to get off on this because there's 4,000 churches in Detroit. This should be the holiest place on earth. But we one of the most violent because we commit spiritual malpractice. Because we make spirituality a thing that is not who it is that we are. And if we would put down religion and pick up what we're supposed to do as people and do what's right, you will find out we are the people of God. It's about being the people of God, not being a member of a church. It's about being a member. It's about being a member of God. But how do we participate?
Wait, hold on though, because you just said something that was powerful. We are going to get back to participation, but I say all the time, Pastor. I say, Jesus was the great teacher, which means that basically he was sitting here to really show us the right way because we just kept getting it wrong.
Yep. And we still getting it wrong, even though he came and professed we know him, look at what he did and still get it wrong.
Because we're still not, like, he didn't sit in some building and preach to a bunch of other saved people already.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And judge them. And you know what I mean? He went out.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah.
He rode with his disciples.
Yeah.
Okay, them was his boys, and they
were
thugs. Now they
right. And you got to remember, they were young. Jesus was much older than them.
And he was only
30. And he was 30.
Yes.
So when he started his ministry,
Right.
you got to remember, a lot of them were younger than him. So when you're watching that stuff on TV and you see all them old men up there wasn't no old men out there running around in the desert.
They was young bulls taking on the world.
Exactly. And they basically had attention deficit disorder. He didn't take the most qualified. He took those who showed up and decided to go. That's how you become if you just show up, if you're ready to go. Just show up. It's on the job training. You didn't fill out an application to be a disciple. You were a disciple because you showed up and you followed him.
And you know what you just told me? That's how you participate.
That's right.
That's
show up.
You show up.
You show up.
God don't call the qualified. He qualified the people who he called. None of them was qualified. He took every type of thug in the world. Took a prostitute, saved the city.
Come on with it.
Took an adulterer and made him a king. Took a murderer and had him deliver his people. Took a drunk, had him build an ark. It's like, come on, get real.
Come on with it.
So yeah.
Y'all know where we was gonna go with this.
So when you say I'm not qualified, how were they qualified? Well, none of them qualified. And I ain't trying to be funny. Half the people in the Bible that God used would be a convicted felon today. So you can't say I'm not qualified. If you woke up this morning and you can walk and you can talk and you can breathe and you can move, you qualify.
Especially if you show up.
Especially if you show up. Exactly. And then guess what? You got to put out the message. And what are you doing today? Y'all putting out the message.
We putting out the message, man. It's not just business. It's not just this is personal. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is personal. We've got to, because this is impacting every neighborhood, every race.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Every denomination.
Every denomination. It doesn't matter.
Everything you can think of. You stop and you think when those children were murdered, and you think about all of the murders that take place in this country. It don't ask if you Democrat or Republican.
Mm,
It don't check to see if you black or white.
nope.
It don't say if you Christian or Muslim.
Or
It's
Hispanic.
indiscriminate. It's indiscriminate.
Yep.
So how do we discriminate on who gets what? Evil don't discriminate. It'll take whosoever, but so will God.
Mm.
So it's like, okay,
That's right.
yeah. So let me stop preaching.
Yeah, no. So yeah. So let's talk a little bit. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit because I do.
Y'all never answered your question either on who was coming to the march.
We'll end on that one.
Okay.
We'll end on that one. I want to spend a little bit of time because we've got Everett here today, Everett Finley, right? He's in town, and I just want you guys to talk a little bit about I Am Here for Good.
Yeah. So the with Pastor Barry, as you know, as you can see, like there's it's very dynamic. For me, working on global system strategy, being fortunate to work with scientists and innovators and artists all over the world, like meeting Pastor Barry was one of wow, like he really is about the solution to the problem. It is not religion. It's solution, and it's based on recognizing different forms of intelligence. But the stuff that we do there at the Church of Messiah manifests itself in so many different ways, from entrepreneurship programs to workforce development with Robert to looking at what is this specific kid interested in, what is his skill set, and what do they need to be connected to.
Yes.
So we bring people in, and us innovators from all over the world. We've had like Prince Jaime Eduardo de Bourbon from Spain. We've had Dr. Stefan Alexander, who teaches at Brown University. We've had major people come in to connect with the youth in a way, to so the youth could see, like you said, they need to see to know that they can do.
Absolutely.
Right? And the I Am Here for Good program is a way in which we can say, are you here to stay? I am here for good. People in the communities need to know that they can stay in their communities. And then the people that are coming in is both it's a declaration and a call to action. So we're calling people to action. You know, like if you're coming in to set up a grocery store, hey, how many people from the community can you hire?
Yes.
Because what we are seeing is that there's this gross misconception sometimes, right? Like when Prince Jaime Eduardo and Pastor Barry, when they kick it, now they're doing a cookout. They Pastor Barry challenged him, hey, you think you're a great cook? Because Prince Jaime actually thinks he's a good cook. so actually he is. He trained, and he loves that's his hobby. He doesn't have to work a day in his life again, but he loves doing that stuff. Pastor Barry's like, yeah, I'll challenge you to a cook-off.
Yeah.
And then the youth are seeing this interaction.
The practical at that level.
At that level.
Yep.
And then that turns into a fundraiser. So there's many things that take place. CJ, our bro CJ, he worked on a campaign with us.
Shout out to CJ. I think he's in Phoenix right now.
Yeah. He's at school furthering his education.
Yes.
Right. Came through the media program at the church. But he worked with us on campaign on the billboards in Times Square for the Museum of the Courageous. And we did a Times Square billboard takeover, and we filmed in Detroit. You know, so there are many ways that we realize that, listen, we could just like check the boxes to make sure that we do this or that. But the thing about working with Pastor Barry is not about the checking of the boxes. What is the solution to this problem? And he said, Everett, you know, I know, I looked at who you are, I looked at what you do. I want you to come and do this here.
Absolutely.
Right? And for me, as you can see, he's somebody to follow. He's somebody to stand by no matter what. So when you are bringing it back to the real, when you're putting caskets in the ground that have no right being, when the caskets are sometimes small, I want to get emotional. They're smaller than they're supposed to be. It ain't right, bro.
It ain't right, man.
Right, it ain't right. So we are really looking at solutions for real problems, and that is something that's what the I Am Here for Good is about, because everyone can participate in that. Wealthy developers. We kicked it with Christos last night, who's like and people want to participate, but they don't know how.
Yes.
But if Pastor Barry says, hey, you're part of the I Am Here for Good, yeah, I'm here for good. I'm here to show up. I'm here to stay, and I'm here to also do good. And this is that when he talks about this aspect of a different system, that's a system we want to implement.
So is the invitation only? Is there a way to donate to the movement? How do we like, is there a website we can share with the people? Like,
It is about to happen. That's what we're going to be talking about at the march.
Okay.
Because we're actually going to be launching it, and we're going to give the people the opportunity to be part of the solutions. Because the biggest thing is when the people come to this thing, they're really going to be looking up and they're going to be thinking to themselves, how do I become a part? How do I step in? And our thing is, and whatever it is that you do, you have that opportunity. Like here is MBassador Studios.
Yep.
You're going to be there. You're going to be there for good because you're going to do this thing and we ain't paying you. The same way that Everett. I'm like, Everett, I know you come up with strategies for governments. I ain't got enough money to pay you for the stuff that you do. But he was like, I'm here for good. I'm here for the cause.
Yep.
Now, you get paid in the long run,
Yep.
but it's one of those things where when you step in and you say, how do I give my services? And I'm a medical doctor. I'm a social worker. I'm in the skilled trades. All of that can help rebuild all of our community because we bring people in. One of the things that we're doing, because I am a minister, so my job is to work someone in the faith base, but I believe in holding the faith base accountable. So 4,000 churches in Detroit. God, how do I do this without getting in trouble? So since I always get in trouble, they killed Jesus, but I got Robert.
I got
with
you.
me. Yep, you got
Don't worry
me.
about it.
So it's almost like I ain't worried about
You
it.
got big dog at the table. Don't worry about it.
So a few years back, Fox 2 News did a story on us that went viral. It
Okay.
went all over the country, really, really took off. We had met with some preachers earlier and who just could not come to an agreement on how we all work together. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing on earth. We got the exact same mandate. We can't figure out how to work together. I get thrown out of meetings with preachers because I don't have the patience. So they threw me out. The plan that I had for us to do, the church went ahead and did it. So they see us on Fox 2 News, and we got the housing, and we got the internet, and we got the business incubation center, we got the employment office, we, working with the young people, getting the kids in school, this, that, and the other. And they went, oh my God, preacher, how do we become a part? That's what I was telling y'all at the table when y'all threw me out the meeting. So we just went ahead and did it.
Yep.
And so then therefore now they came to the table, and we got how many churches?
Man, last count, it was probably about 130 just here in Detroit.
In Detroit. And then
it's other
Flint,
places. Yeah, Flint,
Los Angeles, San Francisco, Cleveland, Toledo, all these things.
Battle Creek.
Yep, following the lead. So our thing is we came up with a strategy and a plan to be able to do it.
Wow.
And all we got to do is go in with the good. Get rid of religion, because we don't talk about religion at all, because we also work with the Nation of Islam, the Moors, make no difference about the denomination. It is how do we build the kingdom on earth? How do we do the mandate that God has called us to do? No excuses. Don't talk religion. Prove who you are about what it is you do. The Bible say the kingdom of heaven is not mere words. It's a demonstration of power. We here to show you the demonstration of the power of the people of God. And so then therefore we ain't bowing down to gun violence. We ain't bowing down to poverty. We ain't bowing down to the politicians, this, that, and the other. We done went to their tables enough. They coming to our tables. So now that's what this is. That's what the march is. Now you're coming to our table, and we gonna tell you and hold you accountable on what it is that you go do. There's a role for the politicians, for law enforcement, for religious leaders, for the medical, for those in the skilled trades, for all of the different things, this, that, and the other. We go build this. If you say you don't know how, you go look at the building behind you, you go walk in Church of Messiah, and you go see it all. We go be in the middle of our neighborhood where you go see our housing. You go use our internet. You go see our workforce development center. You go meet our young people. You go drink our products. You go wear our clothes, all built by the people in that community and neighborhood who's saying we ain't just bowing down to the pressures of what the world say that we are. We're going to demonstrate and show how the world is supposed to do it. That's actually what happened. What's happening. I don't know if I answered your question because I don't remember what the question was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
An ability that goes undemonstrated remains unrecognized.
A little bit of preaching in you. Yeah, very good.
And I love the fact that I just love the demonstration portion of this.
It's a demonstration of
like
power.
whenever I'm around you, it's like he's so bottom line.
Bottom line.
You get what I'm saying? Like either it is or it ain't. Well,
Yeah.
And now because that's what's going to attract our youth, because especially these millennials, like that's who they are. It's like you got to shoot them straight, man.
Yeah.
We've been enough already, and as times change, we're changing, they're changing, they're fast, they got data at their fingertips. Like
women, and God is wondering, How can the gang get them?
Mm.
God is wondering, how can all of these evil resources get them and my people there?
Mm.
How is that possible? How can they do a better job than God's people? We so damn religious, we have lost
That's
our
it.
mind.
That's
So
it.
we put down religion and do what he called us to do. We ain't trying to make you a member of a church.
Mhm.
We're trying to make you a member of the human race.
Mm.
And we're trying to
Mm.
do that through your spirituality.
There it is.
Yep.
Man. So all right. Before we get out of here, right? Because I know we all got a lot of stuff going on today. I want to kind of talk about who's going to be there and any more important things we should get out for the people.
So we want as many people there as possible. We're telling people if they can wear the color orange. Orange is the color of gun violence, and it is the color is orange because the hunters, when they hunt, they wear the color orange. It means don't shoot.
Ah,
So then, therefore, that's why we say orange. You cannot miss it.
awareness. Yep.
Yeah, you don't shoot nothing orange. The other thing is make sure that you bring a picture if you can. If you can bring a picture of the loved one that you want to honor. Also, to get ready to do networking and meeting a little bit of everybody. When we put this out, because we hadn't done it in 2 years, we were amazed at the overwhelming support that we got. That once we said that we do it, that's what's going to happen. So who's going to be there? So let me do the dignitaries first.
Yes.
So the dignitaries that's going to be there, and Robert, you have to help me. I know the Wayne County Executive, Warren Evans, is going to be there. The police chief, James White. The Wayne County Sheriff, Raphael Washington.
Mhm.
I know the Deputy Chief, Kyra Hope, is going to be there. Judge Kenneth King, Judge Kelly Ramsey. We got the mayor of Grosse Pointe, the mayor of Grosse Pointe Park, I think the mayor of East Point. And then it's some of these. Senator Adam Ollier, Senator Stephanie Chang. I know those are going to be there. Wayne County Commissioner Jonathan Kinlott, State Rep Tyrone Carter. Those are the ones that I know are confirmed off the top of my head. And then confirmed organizations that's going to be there is Moms Demand Action, Crime Stoppers, Episcopal Diocese of Michigan, End Gun Violence Michigan, Michigan United, the Detroit Police Department, the Wayne County Sheriffs, Force Detroit,
People's Action.
yeah, the people. Oh yeah, the People's Action. Yeah, got it in the shout out. They doing some amazing things.
Genesis Hope.
Yeah, Genesis Hope. I think the Bog Center, Mac Development. You look like you got the list.
DPS is supposed to be there. Detroit Public Schools is supposed to be there.
Yeah, Sinai Grace Hospital.
Healing Center, Westland.
Yep, Healing Center, Westland. Yeah. So it's a wide group of people from all over. Everybody's tired. And what we're going to do is we're going to come together. We're going to talk about, of course, what the issue of gun violence is, but we're going to talk about some solutions.
Yeah.
The things that are working, people who are working on these issues, people who are working on safe storage, people are working on gun laws, people are working on building strong communities and neighborhood, educators who are talking about making sure that our kids have every opportunity that they can possibly have. There's going to be opportunity for expungement. There's also going to be an opportunity to get into the skilled trades at the same time. And then one of the major things we're going to do, we're going to honor a young man by the name of DeMarcus Washington, who worked in the skilled trades, went to Martin Luther King High School, which is one of our neighborhood schools. He was learning the skilled trades at the church, and he was murdered 2 weeks before his graduation.
Wow.
So on that day, we're going to name the Workforce Development Center after him. So we're going to rename it the DeMarcus Washington Empowerment Center.
That's great.
We're going to name that after him. So I know there's going to be people from DPS there to stand with us during that time. And then, of course, our supporter, our community supporter, has always been Detroit Public Television, Fox 2, and Channel 4. And I ain't leaving Channel 7 out, but those other ones just kind of stuck out a little bit more so this time.
Yeah. So again, just to recap, the rally is at 10 a.m. and runs till 10:45. The march is at 11 a.m.
Yes.
It's a 1.5 mile walk through Island and West Village.
Yep.
It begins and ends at the church.
Yep.
It takes about 40 minutes round trip.
Yep.
Right. And there will be a light refreshment served upon return.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And there'll be some food trucks too if you want a heavy meal, but we ain't giving you nothing heavy. And then when we return, there will be a little bit of a community rally and a call to action. That's where we're going to make our declaration.
There it is.
I am here for
Yeah.
good.
This is amazing. So show up. Show up if you just want to show up, if you want to support. Also show up if you want to take your skill set and your business and apply it for good.
That's right.
This is our
yes.
opportunity together. All right. Hey,
Yeah.
again, man, this is T from the Code. I'm here with my family, man. I mean, this is crazy. Love y'all and let's talk soon. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.